Hi, homeschooling mums and dads. It's actually day 5 of my 30-day run of vlogs that I said I was going to do. And my son is not around at the moment, so I still want to do my vlogs. So I want to talk about diet in children. This is something that is you can really get into arguments with people about this, with parents about this topic. People get really angry actually when you talk about diet. Like if you say, oh, should your child be eating that or something like that, or maybe you should give your child this instead of that, they get really offended and they get really touchy and just generally annoyed if you kind of analyze their child's diet, because obviously they think, oh, that's my child, I can do what I like. And let me just say, the area that I live in London, and in London there are different types. Obviously, it's a very multicultural place. There's different kinds of people here. You'll find the people that are, you've got the ultra rich people, and then you've got the like upper middle class people that are more kind of we'll give our children whatever they want to get, whatever they want to eat, they can eat. And then you've got the middle class, upper middle class, or sort of medium middle class people who only give their children organic food, and they don't eat meat, and they don't eat gluten, and they don't eat dairy, they're just totally vegan, they eat everything organic. There's those type of people. And then you'll find the people that are really frugal and they live on a budget, but they still manage to give their children very good quality food, because they live on the budget. They don't spend their money on all that kinds of other crap. They rather spend their money on decent food for their children. And the place where I live it's really interesting, because you have the middle class people that give their kids all the organic food, and then you have the working class people that, and this is not a generalized thing either. This is something I've witnessed over a number of years. The working class people that would rather go to the store and get loads of frozen food that's full of additives and processed crap and feed that to their children. And if you look at them when they're in the shopping mall, you will see that they don't have one fresh fruit in their basket or their trolley. All you'll see is pizzas and chicken nuggets and chips and every other piece of crap other than fresh fruits and vegetables. And it's something that I'm seeing a lot of around here. But then when I go to like the farmers markets, I'll see like that type of the middle class type of people there, and they'll be buying all their fresh fruits and vegetables. And I have discussions with these mums. I don't fall into any specific category. I don't really mix with like any specific clique of people. I mix with everybody. So I don't really fall into any of these categories, you know. But I will speak to these mums, some of these middle class mums and stuff. Ask them what job they do, you know, and stuff like that. And they're really open, and they'd be like, oh, my children only eat organic food. They don't eat anything else. They don't eat any meat. They don't eat any dairy. All they eat is organic, fresh fruits and vegetables, and everything is not processed, you know. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm pretty much the same way with my child. The point I'm trying to make here is that the food you feed your children is not a game. And I think a lot of people, there are many people out there that are actually obviously concerned about what their children eat. There are also many people out there that don't actually care what their children eat, and they will just give their children any old rubbish, crepes, biscuits, cakes, McDonald's, every other piece of rubbish, rather than a fresh piece of fruit, or even, you know, it doesn't always have to be fresh fruit either. You know, some people say, oh, I can't afford vegetables and stuff, which is not true, because if you go to Iceland, which is a store where they sell all frozen foods in this country, you will see there's an area that has all the vegetables, and they're frozen vegetables. They might not be as good as the fresh, but if you can't afford it, you can buy the frozen ones. And the frozen vegetables that you'll find are like £1 for a packet of of vegetables, frozen vegetables for £1. Cauliflower, broccoli, spinach, peas, sweet corn, carrots, swede, even potatoes, pumpkin, squash, everything frozen, you know. And sometimes frozen can be better than fresh, because if you can't find good quality fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, by all means buy the frozen variety. There's actually no real excuse actually for giving your children a load of rubbish. And I think a lot of people just make an excuse, I can't afford it, but it's actually an excuse. It really is an excuse. And I don't want to offend anybody, but I really do believe it's an excuse, because people say, okay, it's cheaper for me to go and buy these ready meals for £1, but is it really cheaper to do that when, if you think about the health implications of these foods, is it actually cheaper to buy crap and allow your children to eat crap for them to end up having all kinds of issues with their health, diabetes being one of them, obesity, heart disease, cancer, which obviously cancer is debatable, because cancer you don't just get that just because of diet, but you do reduce the risk of getting it if you eat better, and it's up to you as parents, and I think everybody watching this should know this already. It's up to us as parents to decide what our children eat. When you're weaning your child off of the milk, the breast milk, are you going to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to give my child what they want? No, because your child is a baby at that point. They can't dictate to you what they eat at that point, unless they have allergies. Then you can say, okay, they can only have this, they can only have that. But generally, if a child doesn't have any allergies, you give the child what you want to give the child. If you're going out buying all these jars of food, people think that these jars of food are really good for them because it's got fruit and it says on it fruit and veg and blah blah. But if you think about the fact that these jarred foods are they have been ultra heated to be able to stay on the shelves for all that length of time. Like the sell by date on a lot of these stuff is like 2015, and you bought it in 2012. For 3 years that can last, because it's been ultra heated and it can just be on the shelf in a glass bottle. That can't be healthy. They put a lot of salt in those foods as well, and they put sugar in it as well. Like they'll say, oh, it doesn't have any added sugar in it. And a lot of the time when they say it doesn't have added sugar, it's because they put high fructose corn syrup in it. And so because of these loopholes in what they can actually say in the labelling, there's so much stuff in these foods that you don't even know. And so I would say it's safer to just give your children whole food. Let me give you an example of what you can give your children instead of giving them all of these processed rubbish. You can go and buy a massive bag of potatoes. They're not very expensive. A big bag of rice is not very expensive. You can also buy like sweet potatoes. You can even buy sweet potatoes in a big bag as well. If you are finding it difficult, you can even go to wholesale markets and buy your food in bulk rather than buy it in bits and pieces. That's going to save you a lot of money. Fresh frozen fruits and vegetables. You can get frozen berries and frozen peaches and frozen mangoes and put those in smoothies. That's going to give your children the fruit that they need as well. Make your children fruit desserts and stuff. Hide fruit in your children's cereal. Not necessarily the processed cereal. You can make your own cereal. You can make your own granola yourself. You don't need to go and buy all this processed stuff. So healthy eating doesn't need to be difficult. Healthy eating doesn't need to be scary. Healthy eating doesn't need to be expensive either. And I think that we have, in a sense, been brainwashed to believe that healthy eating is so expensive that it's better to buy this cheap crap. I've seen a documentary actually about people that give their kids McDonald's every day because they say it's cheaper to buy McDonald's than to cook, which is nonsense. It really is, because if you know what to buy, it's not going to be cheaper. And to be quite honest with you, even if it is cheaper, yeah, in the long run, is it cheaper? In the long run, is it cheaper? In the long run, is it cheaper? Is it cheaper? Not really. Not when it comes to your children's health. It is not cheaper. So think twice when you're going to stuff your children with unhealthy food. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a treat, because there's nothing wrong with having a treat. Once in a while, give your, for them to have a little, if they go out to a party or something like that and they've got cake there and sweets and things like that, then, that's all well and good. But if you teach your children that it's a treat to have chocolate and all that kind of stuff, then they're going to think that they're going to want it more. If you educate your children from day one, the dangers of some of these foods, and you show them the alternative that can be just as tasty and just as satisfying, if, they're not going to be so desperate to eat all of this junk food. So don't be brainwashed, please, especially these young mothers that are coming up now that don't really know what they're doing, and I just see them on the street with their kids eating crisps, eating McDonald's, eating all of these junk foods, and I'm not sure if they know the dangers of it. I'm not sure if they really understand what they're doing to their children. I'm going to insert some footage, actually, of a couple of, documentaries and about this junk food revolution and how it's really affecting our children. So I'm going to put some footage together and just insert it here. So stay tuned for the footage. Don't just cut off the video, because there's going to be some footage after this. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Bye.